This was the scene that showed me I just wasn't having fun as an actor. I have tried filming this video 35 times, so in my attempts to celebrate finally being a second-year actor at Columbia University, I am going to go through all the characters I got to play my first year. So this is how it's gonna work. Each semester I have 2 scene study classes. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna give you a list of the characters I got to play in one scene study class. Then I'm going to give you the list of the characters I did in my second scene study class. But keep in mind, these characters were being put up at like the same time. You know what I mean? So like we spent about 2 to 3 weeks on each character. So that means every 2 to 3 weeks I'm working on 2 new characters. But let's get started. So first semester, I have Ron Van Loo for my Acting 1 class. And with him, I did the characters Macy from The Cake, followed by Cynthia from Sweat, followed by Bunny from Detroit 67, baby. Let's start with Macy. Macy is in an interracial relationship with another female, and the female is a white woman, and they go back to this woman's like childhood home, and her mother passed away, so she asks her mother's best friend to bake them a cake for their wedding, but she basically decides she doesn't want to make the cake for her because she's getting married to a woman. Did I like playing Macy? No. Do I know why? I think she was just a hard character for me. I think I would like to return back to her just to work on the technique that I've learned, not because like I'm so excited to play her. But she was definitely a character that was hard to understand, but again, that was my first character. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just acting the way I always did, and it worked. But through that character, I did learn the lesson of I'm the kind of actor that can really commit to a surface level, but I have no depth or width, but I can get away with pretending like I do. And I can get away with it, I just can. But that's not the kind of actor I want to be. But yeah, so that was cool. It was also the first scene where like I was in a bra and booty shorts for class, so that was interesting, very interesting. It was an okay scene. I wasn't like crazy about it. Next, I had Cynthia from Sweat. I'd pay you money to return back to this scene. I had this scene, this was probably like a 15-20 minute scene, and Cynthia was in the whole scene, and it was a scene where Cynthia and one of her really good friends basically have a confrontation after high intense situations. I would go into details about each one of these plays, but I've tried to film this so many times that I'm like, I can't, I just can't. Playing Cynthia was the first time I think it was the first time I actually really heard Ron say, you have to respect your craft, you have to respect your art. And I have it written on my wall over there, you have to respect yourself. And that means rising to the character. And Cynthia was a character that I brought down to me, and I felt like I really let myself and my artistry down, but I also I had the scene with some really talented actors in my class, and they did amazing work. But in my defense, I was doing Cynthia at the same time as In the Blood, as well as another scene that was going up in James's class. But In the Blood was a 30th thesis, so I had full days of classes and full days of rehearsals and weekends. And it was a scene, it was a very intense, wordy scene. But mind you, I had the same kind of scenario come up again my second semester, and I nailed it. Just saying, I learned, okay? I learned how to balance. I learned. So after I had Cynthia, I ended the semester in Ron's class with Bunny from Detroit 67, baby, and it was a wonderful way to end that class. And with that character, I found fun. As an actor, my mental state is always how do I get better, how do I become a great actor, just like very technical, and I'm very hard on myself, and I never have fun. I learned learned from another scene that I was working on in James' class right before I had Detroit 67 was that I wasn't having fun in any of my scenes. So my only goal with Bunny, because it's a character that I really just want to play, I hope I get casted in it like tomorrow after COVID is over. I just wanted to have fun and enjoy it. So that was the character that I learned how to have fun with. That was the character that I realized if I want to have fun, I have to actually I have to get off book. This was the character that taught me that being off book way before rehearsal is insanely important. Like, coming into rehearsal ready means that you will be on top of it when it's time to rehearse and perform. Yeah, doing Bunny for Detroit 67. Detroit 67, if you're a Black human being, just pick up this play and read it and find a character you want to play in it. All these characters are amazing. It's by Dominique Morisseau. Incredible play. And Bunny Baby, I will see you soon. I will be playing you very soon. Now, my first semester I also had James Caleri for a scene study. And the first scene I had with him that kind of like went parallel to Macy from Cake with Ron was The Mountaintop, and I played the character of Camae. The Mountaintop is a wonderful story by Katori Hall, and it's the story of the night before MLK gets assassinated and the night he spent with this maid named Camae. This is officially one of my dream roles, like facts. This play is wonderful. Katori Hall is also the writer of my other dream role, Crank, from Hurt Village, another wonderful play. Katori Hall is just phenomenal. But yeah, Camae is a hell of a role, and if you've ever read The Mountaintop, you know that ending is fire, and I can't wait to return back to this character with all the tools that I have learned so far this first year. But doing this scene overall was a really good experience. Now, after Camae from The Mountaintop, I was assigned Beverly from Fairview, and this character, what did I learn from Beverly? Beverly, this scene was the very first scene this was the very first scene I started to apply what I was learning from the program, and very unconsciously actually. So it was the very first time where like everything I was learning from the program was actually coming into my work. Although Beverly is not a character, I had a negative experience with this scene. You know, it was a teaching moment, so it wasn't like, but it was a teaching moment. So for me, this character is not someone I really want to return to anytime soon. This was a high, comedic, sitcom-y, fast-paced, long scene, just like going and timing. This was the scene that I realized I wasn't having fun. This was the scene that showed me how much I just wasn't having fun as an actor. As an actor, everything was hard work, and this scene felt like so much hard work, and I forgot how to have fun. That's what this scene taught me. Again, though, it was also the scene where everything I was learning, especially my movement class, and like falling off the cliff and just kind of going with the flow and just really relying on my partner and staying present came out in this scene when it was done well. Besides that, Beverly is not a character I'd like to return to anytime soon. The very last character I had in James' class was Moxie from Sojouners. And I wish I could show you guys. I'm actually gonna show you. So this character is what started my character notebook. This is she, and I wrote so much about her. Let me get there. Like, these are all journal entries of hers, but I took this character very seriously, although she's a character I could totally play right now, which Moxie is from a play called Sojouners about a Nigerian immigrant couple and the man getting really sucked into American culture and the woman just being like, we're here to do this, now we have to go back home, you know, and then being left alone. And the main character, she becomes friends with a teen prostitute, Moxie, about 16 or 14 years old. And so I really want to deep dive and So came out the character book. But Moxie, what did I learn from Moxie? Moxie was when I learned that I am also an actor, that when something works, I want to do it over and over every time. And I learned that that does not work and it makes something dead. Because this was a really hard scene for us to do, for me to do, because the way that this playwright writes is not, it's very much not like, you know, like conversation flows, but it's very much like real life, where like, you know, you'll be talking about cars, and then there's a moment of quiet, and then all of a sudden you're talking about donkeys. And when you read that in a play, you're like, you don't even know how to connect those dots, or like those pauses and sentences that make no sense, but like in real life when you're talking to someone it makes sense, but on paper you're like, what the hell is going on? So she writes like how people talk, and so for me that was really hard to make those transitions. And whenever I got those transitions right, I would like write a note, be like, oh, this is what made it work, and then I'll try to repeat it in class. It did not work. It did not work. It just didn't. The final time we did it, it was also my redemption piece, which is like we have the end of the semester to like bring back one scene that we want to redeem. And that was my redemption scene. And I did not redeem it, y'all. Oh my god. I did not redeem it, but I learned the lesson, so that's all that matters. So the other two characters I got to play this semester was from a production, which was In the Blood, the third year thesis. As you guys may know, I did that also. And I did this while I was playing Cynthia and Fairview. Now, if you remember correctly, a few minutes ago, Fairview was a really negative experience, and Cynthia, I did not rise to meet her. And this was why. I was doing a whole nother production where I had two characters to worry about, and both characters are very present in the play, and both characters have a lot to say in the blood, welfare and bully. And so just basically the middle of my first semester in grad school, I was balancing 4 characters: welfare, bully, Cynthia from Sweat, and Fairview. Now mind you, this In the Blood is like a 3-hour play. Fairview was a 20-minute high-intensity comedic sitcom scene. Sweat, Cynthia, was a 15-minute really high-intense emotional scene. And I only had about a month worth of tools from grad school, so I was like,
hey guys, just doing a quick check-in. I definitely won't be vlogging. I don't know, finally doing this thing that I've always dreamed of, and seeing old habits of mine kind of come back into my life has been kind of a scary process for me. I've also there's a lot on my plate this semester. I'm not doing it well, so that's been a little painful for me to come to terms with, but I'm relearning how to take care of myself, because that's something I'm not doing at all. But yeah, the vlogs probably won't be happening. I'm really focused. I really need to do this thing that I want to do, and I want to do it well. I want to be a good actor. I want to be the best that I can possibly be, and I want to somehow find fun in that, because I realized that I haven't had fun acting for a really long time, which is stupid because I think it's the only thing I can do.
and I wasn't sleeping, and I started to gain weight, and I was like, I'm gonna peace out. I'm just gonna take an L. So I took an L. Not purposefully, but it ended up happening. But I did the same thing my second semester, as you will see, and I handled it like a G. I rose to the occasion. Boom. Now we're gonna move on to second semester. Okay, and then we're back, and I've had a month break, and it's second semester. It's 2020. COVID has yet to show its face in New York City, in the US. So my second semester started off basically like the middle of my first semester. I had a full-on production, as well as 2 pretty major characters in Ron's class and in Peter J's class. So again, I have 2 scene study classes going on at the same time. I have Ron for acting 2, and I have Peter J. Fernandez for heightened text. So for Ron, I was assigned Emma Tate from Curse of the Starving Class by Sam Shepard. Our whole class basically had we were focusing on Sam Shepard these next 3 weeks. And so our whole class had a scene assignments from Sam Shepard, who is a phenomenal writer. And I was playing Emma Tate in Curse of the Starving Class for, I think, a 25-minute scene. I'm pretty sure that scene was a solid 30 minutes long. It was lengthy. Now, Emma Tate is like a 13, 12-year-old. I am 5 feet tall. I know I'm supposed to play a kid, like I get it. I can get away with playing a kid, but so it's like, what the fuck? But y'all, Emma Tate was the character that showed me the actor that I could be. It, to this day, is it was my best work. And that was second semester of my first year in grad school. And when I tell you all of the tools I learned my first semester came to play, all of my tools that I learned from first semester came to play. My movement class showed up, my speech class and my voice class, and how I used her words and how I spoke for her. Ron's 5 questions he tells us to ask, and Sita, our movement teacher, and how she says to really prick the soft center of the character's heart, you know, and find that emotional life. I had so much fun playing this character. So much fun, and it was a blessing to do this scene. Yes. At the same time, I was in a second-year project called 36 Questions. It's an original play, and I played Dot, who is a scientist who falls in love with her coworker. And that was also a lot of work. It was so much work. I feel like that it was so much work. Like, I really grew a lot, and having to do that show outside of class allowed me to bring all the things that I was learning and applying it to like a real world circumstance without being in class. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was a really great opportunity. It was a lot of work though. It was lots of late nights, and I basically didn't sleep until 4 a.m. like every night. Because the third scene I had going up at the same time for Peter J. Fernandez was Stella from Streetcar Named Desire. Don't even get me started. Oh my god, guys. Stella almost killed me. Stella was the character that showed me who I was as an actor and how I approach acting, and taught me how to speak about my characters, because I came into this program not knowing how to talk about my characters, which is funny because Emma was the character where I finally was like, Ron, I don't know how to speak about my characters. Like, I don't know what to tell you about Emma. I'm playing her and she's honest when I do it. And that like followed a lot of tears, but that's like a whole nother story. Whereas Stella was a character where I learned how to talk about her because I didn't understand why. I felt really stuck in that scene. That scene, I was just dead in that scene, and I didn't know what to do with that scene. And it's the scene after, you know, the huge Stella bit, and she's talking to her sister, and she's like, her sister's like, why are you staying with him? Like, he's abusive. Like, are you okay? And she's like, I love him. That's basically the scene. And I'm like, y'all, there was nothing there. And it was so frustrating to have that character at the same time as I was working with Emma Tate from Curse of the Starving Class, and having a character that was so alive, and then having a character that I just could not understand for the life of me, no matter how much work I did. But she was important to my experience as an actor. So yeah. You know, it's only right to say the final segment of this video on my phone because my camera died. And I've had enough. So, do you guys know what's about to happen? I just did Stella, and I learned a huge lesson as an actor, okay, about myself. And that was, I learned how to talk about my characters because I could not figure out what was wrong with Stella. I just could not figure out for the life of me why I couldn't get this character. But Emma was a fully realized human being. And then, you know, I just came from doing Dot, from production. I learned that I had great time management skills, even though it meant that I was up until 5 a.m. every morning. I was off book like weeks before each one of these scenes went up. Like, I was on top of my game, and I could do it, and I felt invincible. Y'all, after this, I got assigned Nina from the Seagull, opposite one of my favorite actors in class, yeah? And then, you know, I also got Peter J. He assigned me a scene with one of my favorite people in class, Captain George, and we were gonna do Vera Stark, and I was gonna play Vera, and she was gonna play Lottie, and we were gonna have this fun chit-chatty scene that is basically me and her in real life. Y'all, COVID-19 said no.
Hey guys!
Hello.
So, COVID-19 has...
Oh God. We're out because we're not at school.
Yeah, we have free time to look at each other and take photos.
Why are my classmates so beautiful?
COVID-19 was like, oh my God, you thought you were... What's the COVID-19 said no and sent me back to Boston and emptied out all of New York City. So that's how my second year, my first year, second semester ended. We will return to Chekhov and Vera Stark at some point. I plan on working on some characters over the summer, but guys, oh guys, I am grateful for all the lessons that I've learned. I hope I didn't ramble too much, and I hope I made some sense in this video. But yeah, Ramadan Mubarak, by the way. It's Ramadan, y'all. That's why you haven't seen a video from me for so long, because I've been out here fasting and connecting to God. So it's good. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but your girl got a ring light. That means she can stroll at night. That means I can shoot videos at night, if you didn't understand what that terrible singing was. Oh my God, I'm letting this video go. I'm just... You know what? It seems like this video is letting me go. So... Guys, please comment below. Like, I promise I'll have more structured videos for you in the future. I just thought I'd give you guys something because I wasn't planning on uploading any videos because it's Ramadan. But I was like, I have some new followers. Let me give them a little something. Anyways, I love y'all. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing.